Hello everyone and welcome to the Race Monkey. What we have over here is the XUV700 AX7L with a 2.2 litre M-Hawk diesel engine. Now this one produces 185 horsepower through that 6-speed automatic gearbox. Everyone has been talking on the internet about how good it is in terms of performance, how good is the power to weight ratio, how good is the acceleration, but no one's really talking about how efficient this engine is. So we are here at the Gulshan Dhaba, my favorite breakfast spot besides the Delhi-Amritsar highway, and we're going to go back home, which is about 80 kilometers from here, and see if we can touch the 25 kilometers to the litre mark with this one. It is going to be quite challenging, but there is no challenge we cannot take. So let's get behind the wheel and talk you through it. The XUV700 has been one of my favorite SUVs in the market today, and ever since it got launched last year, I've been yearning to take it on a long trip. We did have the petrol-powered XUV700 a few months ago, but it was just so thirsty. But even then, we extracted about 20 kilometers to the litre on the highway. But within the city limits, that car used to suck fuel. But this diesel is an absolute joy. It is something that would not make you cry when you visit the fuel pumps. Now we did a trip from my home till Gulshan Dhaba, which is about 80 kilometers, and we extracted a fuel economy of 23.5 kilometers to the litre. Then my average speed was around 80 kilometers to the hour, and my AC was running on full blast and full load temperature. Now we're going to adjust the things a little bit. I've shut my panoramic sunroof. I'm shutting off the sunlight from entering the cabin and heating up too much. I'm going to set my air conditioning right. I'm going to keep the average speed to about 75 kilometers an hour and see if this can touch that 25 kilometer per litre marker. Let's do it. Now I'll reset the trip computer to 0. We are right across Gulshan Dhaba on the opposite side, heading towards Delhi, and my fuel info is also reset. So let's head on back home and see if we can touch the 25 kilometers to the litre marker. So what we're doing here is that we're keeping an average speed of around 75 kilometers per hour and letting the cruise control decide how much fuel needs to go to the engine to maximize the thermal efficiency. Now when we use our right foot to press the accelerator, there are chances that we push it 10 to 20% more than what is adequate, even when we are being extremely cautious. But the computers know exactly what to do, and that's why cruise control is such an efficient way of extracting the best fuel economy in any car. And I've been doing this with quite a lot of other luxury cars, but doing it with an SUV, currently as we see, we're doing about 27.4 kilometers to the litre in the XUV diesel. It's just mind-blowing. So now we're getting onto the Western Peripheral Expressway, onwards to Bahadurgarh and then back home. Now the only thing that can affect at large when it comes to extracting the best fuel economy during such hypermiling attempts is your tire pressures. I have kept the tire pressures 2 psi above the recommended tire pressure for the least rolling resistance on the highway, because I knew I would not be crossing 80 kilometers an hour of speed, and 2 psi of extra pressure would not harm my grip levels. So the surface patch of the tires is reduced a little bit. The second thing is the car is recently serviced, so the car is clean on the mechanical front, the brakes are new, everything feels much cleaner. The third thing that can potentially affect is the wind on this highway, because there is a vast area around the highway. There is a chance of having quite a lot of wind shear, which will sort of affect the fuel economy. Like right now, we are getting 26.5 kilometers to the liter, reduced from 28 plus that we were getting a few minutes ago when we exited Gulshan Dhaba in Murthal. Now all these modern engines are very fuel efficient indeed. We have forgotten about how great diesel engines are for doing long distance journeys ever since the 15 and 10 year rule came into the country. Especially in Delhi, where we only are able to keep diesel cars for as long as 10 years. These emission laws have made us forget the greatness of the brilliant diesel engines that we've had, and they still are amazing mile munchers. Now, the great part about this mechanical setup is the power to weight ratio. It is not as heavy, but the power up front does make it a very smooth affair to glide on the highway. It is beautifully calibrated, and the way it behaves, especially on these open roads, it's just too good. And I really like how relaxed this thing is. I've just put the car on cruise control, set the speed at 75 kilometers an hour, and I'm just gliding like it's no one's business. This indeed is a great engine on a great car. No wonder XUV700 still demands a year-long waiting period. Minus the fact that there is a chip shortage issue that's going on, people still want this car, mostly for how comfortable it is. Both the petrol and diesel engines are very, very popular, but I just hope we had a 15-year rule for the diesel engines in Delhi as well. So I would have picked it up with eyes closed. But if you're a person who does 22,000 to 25,000 kilometers every year, like I do, I probably do more than that, you should shut your eyes and just pick up the diesel and forget about everything. So we are now exiting the Western Peripheral Expressway towards Delhi. And we have extracted a fuel economy figure of 27 kilometers to the liter. Now, this is not instantaneous fuel economy, mind you. This is the overall fuel economy that we got from Gulshan Dhaba in Murthal up till Bahadurgarh. This is an astonishing number. Really, really, really impressed. Here on the inside of the XUV700, things are very opulent indeed. I love this black and ivory interior shade that Mahindra has chosen. It just uplifts the cabin environment way too well. I really appreciate the use of piano black materials everywhere, which does lift up the ambience of this environment. Now, if you compare this to the Scorpio, of course the XUV700 is much more comfortable. The seats are very well bolstered, although both of these cars use somewhat the same design of seats, but I feel XUV700's cushioning is much more softer. The palette of colors in front of your eyes is much more soothing. So this interior is really classy. We've got this massive slab of screens where we have a touchscreen over here, which is a 12.3-inch touchscreen. It's derived from the same brand that supplies to Mercedes-Benz. So it is actually very similar in terms of hardware to the Mercedes-Benz GLE. But over here, you get a 6GB RAM Qualcomm system, and the way everything works is very, very quick. The touch response is crisp and it works really well. What I also appreciate over here in the cabin is the use of good quality buttons, rotor knobs, and this beautiful leather which has been slapped on the dashboard. Really uplifts the cabin environment. Also, the seats, they're very soft indeed. You don't usually find such soft leather seats, especially in cars that are manufactured in India. What else is very good are these buttons that again are derived from Mercedes-Benz cars, and so is this unit over here, which has a plethora of buttons also for your SOS emergency usage, which has been lifted off from Mercedes-Benz. This car is a mini Mercedes-Benz, which is not a bad thing at all. We've got an electronic parking brake, a rotor knob for the volume and to control the touchscreen over here with all its functions, which actually engages your eyes more on the road rather than just touching around on the screen, which is not a very safe thing to do. We've got a massive cubby hole in the center armrest, which also has a cooling function, and a big glove box which can accommodate a massive 1.5 litre bottle. Also, there are cubby holes in the door pockets which can accommodate at least 2 bottles on this side and 2 bottles on that side. More cubby holes over here, and a wireless charging pad which can accommodate a large size phone as well. There is a small cubby for another phone, in case you're one of those guys who has a massive business and needs 2 mobile phones to keep track of your personal and professional life. Overall, the front cabin looks excellent. Also, to add, the most favorite thing that Indians like, it's got a massive panoramic sunroof. It does take some time to open up, but it's huge. Here in the back seat of the XUV, things are even better. If you're comparing this to other cars in its segment, this is the place to be in. The seats are very well cushioned. I've got loads of under thigh support and a great lower back support as well. What adds to it is a reclining seat, which does add up to that comfort level. We've got a pretty sizable armrest which can accommodate 1 litre bottles or a bottle of sanitizer over here. I would have liked a flip out cup holder rather than having it in the middle, because you will injure your elbows with it. Now we have a type C charging port over here with a place where you can keep your mobile phones, an AC vent at the back which does blow out all the cold air. We've got lights over here, and the overall experience here is pretty brilliant. What adds up to the luxury quotient, which other cars in its segment don't have, is the boss mode. You can adjust the legroom of this car with a flick of a handle. Now, I am 5 feet 8 inches tall, or 172 centimeters. I have loads of knee room, great amount of under thigh support, great shoulder support, and good amount of shoulder room as well. And this massive panoramic sunroof, which extends all the way till the second row's end, gives a larger sense of space, which does add up to the luxury quotient. This ivory seat configuration does make it a more luxurious looking cabin than its competition. Now here in the third row, getting in and out is a bit of a squeeze, especially if you're an adult. But once you get inside it, you have a very decent knee room. I'm 5 feet 8 inches tall to start off with. The seats at the back do recline a little bit just to liberate a bit of space. And because you sit knees high, it cannot be a very comfortable space for more than 2 to 3 hours. But what makes it a better space overall, and especially in comparison to the Scorpio N, is the availability of an AC blower over here, which does make it a very comfortable situation when you're traveling with your family. Your kids would not be complaining. So the XUV700, this is not just the car that you want, but also the car that you will need. Mahindra has had the most historic demand for this SUV, with waiting lists going as long as a year's time, followed by Mahindra's Scorpio N, which got recently launched. And Mahindra is minting money for these products for no wrong reason. These are very high quality products. The XUV has a great structure on the outside. The interiors are opulent, luxurious, and very comfortable. The ergonomics are spot on. The engines are powerful enough. And for a 7-seater, it is quite a comfortable car. And with those Koni dampers, it just cuts the cake and takes away the bakery as well. The XUV700 is really truly a gem of a product from an Indian manufacturer. Also, it is the safest car on sale in India right now, with 5-star safety rating from Global NCAP and the best pedestrian as well as child safety standards. Now, talking about that 2.2-liter diesel power plant, the M-Hawk engine, it does duty on a lot of engines. In this one, it has a tune of 185 bhp and 450 Newton meters of torque, which is class-shattering. This is the highest standard of performance in an SUV in this class. Also, this is one of the most fuel-efficient cars that I've ever tested, and the most fuel-efficient SUV that I've ever had in the RaceMonkey garage, with 27 kilometers to the liter of fuel economy that we extracted in the middle of monsoons on the highway at a speed which was not slow enough with full AC on blow. We could have touched that 30 kilometers to the liter mark, but it was hot enough to not let us do that. But this is an astonishing piece of engineering, and I really, truly thank Mahindra for bringing such a brilliant product to the Indian portfolio. And with that, I thank you for watching this video. Hope you liked the content that we are creating. Do follow us on Instagram at TheRaceMonkey, and do visit our website, TheRaceMonkey.com, for all the reviews that we have over here. Please wear your seatbelts and wear your helmets at all times when you're on the road. Thank you for watching. Please like this video, subscribe, and share it with your friends who really want to watch the true essence of what these cars are all about. Goodbye.